Before Malawi had a name, before its borders were drawn on colonial maps, there was Nyasaland, a British protectorate, ruled from a distance, governed without the consent of its people. In villages scattered across the land, life was simple, but power was far away. In 1898, in Kasungu district, a boy was born. His name was Hastings Kamuzu Banda. He was not born into royalty. He was not born into privilege. He was born into a world where African ambition had limits. From an early age, he understood one truth. To rise, he would have to leave. As a young man, Kamuzu Banda left Nyasaland, not by ship, not by train, but largely on foot. There were no phones, no emails, no instant messages. Communication was slow, letters carried by hand, messages that took weeks, sometimes months. Once he left, home would hear from him only in silence. His journey first took him through southern Rhodesia and later into South Africa. Here he worked wherever work could be found: mines, households, manual labor. He was learning something important, not just how to survive, but how colonial systems worked. In 1915, Kamuzu Banda arrived in the United States of America. For a young African man from Nyasaland, America was both opportunity and cruelty. He faced racism, isolation, poverty, but he also found education. He studied relentlessly, school after school, degree after degree. Over time, the village boy became a scholar. Against overwhelming odds, Kamuzu Banda trained as a medical doctor. This was rare, almost unheard of for Africans of his generation. Medicine gave him more than a profession. It gave him authority. Authority that colonial powers respected. Authority that African nationalists needed. After America, Banda moved to the United Kingdom. Britain was the heart of the empire that ruled Nyasaland. There, he mixed with African intellectuals, freedom fighters, and political thinkers from across the continent. While Banda studied medicine, Africa was awakening. While Kamuzu Banda was abroad, change was stirring in Nyasaland. In 1944, the Nyasaland African Congress, NAC, was formed. It was started by educated Africans who wanted freedom, dignity, and self-rule. Key early leaders included Levi Mumba, James Frederick Sangala, TDT Banda, Henry Masauko Chipembere, later. These men organized meetings, wrote letters, mobilized communities, but they faced a problem. The Congress had passion, it had ideas, but it lacked one thing: an internationally respected leader, someone educated, someone fearless, someone the British would take seriously. Letters were written, messengers were sent. One name kept coming up: Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda.
In those days, calling someone across the world was impossible. Communication depended on handwritten letters, letters that crossed oceans by ship, letters that could take months to arrive, and months to be answered. But eventually, the message reached him. Nyasaland was calling him home.
Banda hesitated. He had built a life abroad, a career, stability, but history was knocking. After more than 40 years away, he made a decision. He would return, not as a villager, not as a doctor, but as a leader. In 1958, Kamuzu Banda returned to Nyasaland. The man who stepped off the plane was not the boy who had left. He spoke with authority. He commanded attention. Crowds gathered. Hope followed him. His return alarmed the colonial government. His words inspired resistance. Soon after, Kamuzu Banda was arrested and imprisoned. But prison did not silence him. It elevated him. In 1964, Nyasaland became Malawi, and Hastings Kamuzu Banda became the first prime minister, and later the first president of the Republic of Malawi. A journey that began on foot had ended in power. He ruled with vision. He ruled with controversy. But one thing remains undisputed. Malawi's modern history cannot be told without him. The boy who left had returned to shape a nation.